friends, it's Auntie Cuckoo, and today I'm talking about hand sanitizer. As many of you know, I am a nurse who worked in acute care for many years. I also have an autoimmune disease, which makes me very familiar with using hand sanitizer. Now, with shortages a nationwide problem, we're going to talk about what hand sanitizer is made of, how you can make your own, and some substitutions. Now, let me say that there is no substitution for good hand washing, not even hand sanitizer. But as we focus on our health as a nation and worldwide, we want to be wise and read some labels because not all sanitizers are created equal. Most store-bought sanitizers you will find range with an ethyl alcohol percentage of 60 to 70%. And that brings us to our key ingredient for any sanitizer, and that is isopropyl alcohol, also known as rubbing alcohol. Now, I'm not sure about your area, but alcohol has become scarce in my area. I do have some on hand from both Walmart as well as the Dollar Tree, and you will notice they have different percentages of isopropyl alcohol or ethyl alcohol in them. Now let's do the math. If we're diluting this to make our own hand sanitizer, we really should have some alcohol that is 90%. The CDC recommends any hand sanitizer contain a minimum of 60 to 70% alcohol. And that brings us to our second ingredient. We are going to be adding or diluting our alcohol using some aloe vera gel. So now our percentage of alcohol just went down, and that will come into play in a few minutes. Let's talk about aloe vera gel. So I have some on hand, and I feel very fortunate that I do. If you're having a hard time finding it in places like Target, Walmart, your larger stores, even grocery stores in my area are sold out, I'm going to recommend that you look in places that are smaller. Trader Joe's, Sprouts, or your smaller mom and pop type stores, and I'm sure they would appreciate the business. Now, the reason that aloe vera is so widely used for making hand sanitizer is two parts. One, it helps making a liquid into a gel, which makes it much easier to spread on your hands. And number two, it counteracts the drying effects of the alcohol by being moisturizing. So if you have to make a substitution, let's talk about what you can use to make your own hand sanitizer instead of aloe vera. Now, while these items may not be moisturizing, they do have a gel consistency, and that's the type of medium you need for your alcohol. Look at things you may have around the house, maybe some hair gel that just didn't perform super well and isn't really sticky. I know that this one from the Dollar Tree is very mild. You also want to look at things like different skincare products or even shave gels you may have on hand. Now, by no means do you need to run out and buy a container for this, but you may want to look and see if you have some small travel size containers, refill an empty bottle, or even use a spray bottle. I know, it sounds strange, but it is a great way to deliver this type of homemade DIY hand sanitizer. I'm also going to show you how I make my own cleaner using alcohol and a spray bottle. But first, let's get into making our hand sanitizer. Now, I'm going to mix my items, and I have a measuring cup. It is 1/3 cup, and I'm going to be using 2 parts rubbing alcohol, also known as isopropyl alcohol, to 1 part gel or substitution. Now, by no means do you need to use 1/3 cup measurements. Use any that you like as long as you stick to the rule of 2 parts alcohol to 1 part gel or medium. Now, the reason that's so important is that you want the most benefit from your alcohol. It is a strong antimicrobial agent that is used widely in hospitals. So once you've measured out your gel to 1 part, go ahead and add it and start mixing. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Making homemade DIY hand sanitizer is by no means preferred. It is not going to be super thick. It's not going to smell wonderful unless you add some essential oils, but it does work, and it will do the job if you're in a bind and need something like this on hand. Once you have mixed your solution, you can add it to any container you have. I happened to pick up some travel size containers for a trip that is now canceled, and I am glad I did. I have them on hand, and that's what I'll be using. Just look around the house, get creative. You can always put it in an empty jar. I'm using a funnel to add my solution. Now you will notice it is not super thick. It stays a little bit clumpy, but over time it does change. I just looked and it did thicken up just a bit from yesterday. I like the tops of these bottles because it makes dispensing the hand sanitizer super easy, and it is runny, but like I said, we want the most out of our alcohol, so make sure you get your amounts correct. Now, as a little bonus, I wanted to share something with you guys that I've been doing for years. I love alcohol as a cleaner, so I always use 1 part water to 1 part alcohol. I mix it together and add it to a spray bottle. This is something I've done for years. Back in my hospital days, we would use alcohol to clean everything from our desk, our computer, devices. We always had those handy dandy alcohol swabs in our pockets. So you may want to attempt this if you have alcohol on hand and you need a cleaner. It's simple and easy. 1 part water to 1 part alcohol, and add it to any spray bottle. Now, personally, I'm not afraid of putting this on my hands, and I would prefer this over hand sanitizer. And I just wanted to share that if it helps anyone. So please feel free down below in the comments to share other substitutions you may know of or things you've used to make your own antimicrobial hand sanitizer. Let's all share the wealth and share information with one another. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back very soon.